Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. It's Jackie from Key Principles here. I'm presenting the webinar today. Great to see so many people on, and quite a range of different types of businesses. I can see some car dealers, of course, and also some people from the legal sector. And actually there's a a physiotherapist on, and a few other translation business. There's a whole range of businesses on the webinar this afternoon, which is great to see. So just for those that don't know me, I'm Jackie from Key Principles. I'm MD of Key Principles, which I set up around about 15 years ago, just over 15 years ago. And I'll be presenting the webinar, as I say. Certainly interesting times we're experiencing. I hope you're all well and that your families are well as well. Certainly a difficult time for many. But I want to be upbeat in this presentation, and I want to give you some ideas that you can take forward and use in your business to help you grow your businesses now and into 2021. As I say, there are some difficult times, but some businesses are actually doing well, others less so, of course. The reality is this sort of environment does provide opportunities, as long as you're ready to take them. So what I'm going to present to you today are our top 10 marketing activities to help you generate sales. Some of these activities might be relevant to you, some might not, so take away the ones that you feel are most appropriate to your business. And focus on those, but certainly there's plenty of opportunities here. They are all proven marketing activities, so there's nothing new. There might be some things that you've forgotten, but there's nothing particularly new. And in fact, if I'm absolutely honest with you, it probably at this time it's best to avoid those shiny new objects that we keep seeing coming about, and to focus on what we know already works, and that's what this presentation really is about. There are some things on this presentation that are really not online marketing at all. They're not digital related, but as you can tell, I'm old enough to have worked in marketing before the internet even existed. So I've got some ideas that are offline as well. So it really is the opportunity to look at a more integrated approach. Apologies for any background noise. I'm actually in the attic of my home, and it started raining, so that's wonderful. Okay, so without further ado, what I'll do is I'll turn off the webcam. If you've got any questions, pop them in the questions box, and we'll get back to those at the end of the presentation. So thank you very much. I'll just turn off the webcam now. Okay, so let's crack on. What are we going to be covering today? So what will we be covering? Well, where do we start? Of course, start with your existing customers and helping them and upselling to them. And we'll go into some details about and some ideas around that. Your old prospects, things have changed. Let's see what we can do for old prospects. Advertising, I'm going to put that one in, aren't I, with my background? But yeah, advertising included Facebook advertising we'll look at. LinkedIn for B2B. Getting you onto page 1 of Google with the for free with Google My Business and some ideas around there. Reviews, we've spoken about those before. The phone, ooh, scary stuff, the phone, but the phone. Email marketing, one of my favorites. Social media marketing, and dare I say it, direct mail. Let's get physical, shall we? And then finally, let's follow up. Did I say follow up or did I say follow up? Let's just make sure we keep following up. So we'll go through these all in a bit more detail. But before we start, let's think about this. Your mindset matters more than ever at the moment. So mind your head. Seriously, don't get involved in the drama. Avoid the news. I've literally stopped watching the news. I get my updates from my partner. Don't panic. As Roosevelt said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself, and that's the truth. I mean, we are in a fortunate position that there might be a vaccine around the corner. So let's try and avoid any drama, any bad news. Let's keep focused and focus on what we control, what we can control, the controllables. Let's focus on those and let's look for where the opportunities are out there, because there are opportunities for sure. So the first element in terms of opportunities is pent-up demand. Now, we're all aware that we're in a second sort of lockdown, whatever this lockdown is. It's not the same as the first one in the spring, that's for sure. But it is a lockdown. And what we did see after the first lockdown in the spring was a certain amount of pent-up demand. And that's going to happen again. I saw it particularly with the car dealership industry. There was a massive pent-up demand. And many car dealers had, their best months ever shortly after the lockdown. And that's likely to happen again for a number of industries. So it might not be on the same scale because this lockdown isn't quite the same, and hopefully it's going to be a shorter lockdown, but there will be some pent-up demand for absolutely certain in a whole range of industries. The other thing to say is actually there is money still out there and some people will have money. So the money hasn't really disappeared. In fact, there will be some households that will be very cash rich. Seriously. Now, I don't want to be, not thinking of those that are facing hard times, because of course there will be hard times and there are redundancies happening and there are likely to be more redundancies. But there are still people out there that want to spend money, and we want to make sure that your businesses are the ones that are there getting to those people and encouraging them to spend their money with you rather than your competitor. Just a small point then, there will not be a recession for everyone. So there is likely to be a recession, but on the preceding pages I'll show you that it's not all doom and gloom. Some sectors of the market are actually booming. As an example, business management grew by 23% since the 23rd of February this year. Certain sectors, cards for example, have increased by 15%, flowers by 43%, because people just want cheering up. They want something nice in their life, something to happen. So there's no doubt there will be opportunities available to us. We just need to keep an eye out for them and be positive and not focus on the doom and gloom that's around us. Because the forecast suggests, and you can take a look at the information from WordStream in terms of some of the Google Ads data, but let's look at what's actually going to be happening, what's likely to happen. There will be growth. So if we look at the information this is from Deloitte in the UK that was only published 6 days ago, it's showing that GDPR actually rose in September and by 15.5% in the third quarter. So things are looking positive. And in fact, the Bank of England are suggesting that although unemployment will peak in the second quarter of 2021, by the beginning of 2022, we will actually be back to pre-COVID periods. So although things are uncertain, things are changing, things are moving forward, and the vaccine for sure is a positive thing in respect to that. Let's be honest, some competitors are going to go out of business. This is where, the weaker competitors, unfortunately, will go out of business. And I'm sorry about that to an extent, and I don't want to be harsh, but that gives you clear opportunities. And in this sort of market, we can also expect lots of mergers and acquisitions too. So be positive. And if something does happen with a competitor, then be proactive and think about what you can do to actually, dare I say it, capitalize on what's happened. So finally, what I definitely would say is some people will stop marketing. In fact, they have stopped marketing, many have. But what does that mean? It means that things are cheaper, media is cheaper. Google Ads has been cheaper pretty much since the first lockdown. But lots of media is cheaper, Facebook is, and I'll go on to that as well. So, while some people are stopping, that means that there's more opportunity for those that have got the cash, have been in business, have saved their money, have got the cash flow there to actually capitalize on this now and make a positive difference to your businesses. And finally, dare I say it, it's not actually all online. So the Office of National Statistics actually provided a report recently that shows that actually the online peaked in around about May of 2020. But even then, that peak was 32.8% of sales online. That means the rest is offline. So again, opportunities there. I'm not saying it's not going to increase in the next few months with Amazon taking a massive market share of probably the Christmas period. But let's be honest, you know, if we can, for me now, I avoid Amazon. Let's go local. Let's help each other out and help those businesses that are local to us to grow as well. So there definitely are opportunities. So I'm putting a positive spin on this, but I'm hoping you're feeling my positivity. So in terms of the top 10 then, so existing customers, how often are you communicating with them? You need to be keeping in touch with your current customers and making them feel special. Are you maximizing your income with them as well? You know, and are you talking to past customers, because things may have changed with them? I'm not saying you should be selling to them though. Be a helper, not a seller. Go to them with ideas, call them. Yes, actually call them. I don't mind which phone you use a phone and call them. Email them, of course, and keep in touch with them. Give them ideas. And don't forget, Christmas is coming, so don't forget to put that's something in the post for them. So make them feel special, give them some new ideas, and basically keep in touch with them. And now I'm going to move on to the next part of sort of keeping customers, and that is upselling. I'm not saying upsell for the sake of upsell, but if you've got those ideas, think about them and actually go to them with them, because we're all in this together. And if you can help them grow, then they'll love you for it. The other thing to think about as well is, you know, if you've been wanting to do that special promotion or that special type of product that you haven't got, then look to move up, look to move to a higher end offer. In fact, work on that higher end offer now so that you can start to use that higher end offer in 2021 for those people that have got more money, because they are out there. Don't forget to go large. I mean, McDonald's have done it for years. Super size me, go large, whatever it might be. Always give the option of something bigger, and that something bigger and better. And that's what that high-end offer is about. So think about it and seriously consider how you can add more value, do more, and actually upsell. And for those of us in the service industry, quite an interesting idea is, you know, when you ask someone for an idea of a budget, and they give you that clear response of, well, yeah, about 1,500. You can say, well, and up to, as in, you know, what would they actually go up to? Just to see again if you can increase the revenue and the average customer revenue on that. So, because that's what you're trying to do, is trying to improve your average customer revenue. And then, so there, exercise 2 is develop your offering to make upselling easier or easy. So old prospects, of course, let's not forget about them. Hopefully you've got some sort of CRM system or an Excel spreadsheet with your old prospects on. Get in touch with them. You don't know what's happened. So much has happened in these last few months. So let's get in touch with them. So review your data and contact your prospects. As I say, things might have changed and you might be able to help them. But again, provide them with ideas. Offer them help. Don't go in for the hard sell. The hard sell is not going to work. It's just not going to work at the moment. And finally, don't forget your referral partners and keep in touch with them. Remember, they can really help you, and they want to help. So keep in touch with them. Just keep visible. Keep visible to as many of your network as you possibly can. And we'll talk about ways of doing that. And the first one obviously is advertising, but that's really not about customers or old prospects, that's about getting new prospects. The first thing I want to highlight with advertising, and it is, if I'm honest, I'm just looking at online advertising here, but of course there are offline opportunities as well. The online advertising you can track much easier. The biggest opportunity for me, particularly if you're a business to consumer, is going to be Facebook advertising. And if you haven't tried it before, now's the time to try it. In fact, I probably should have been telling you this about a week ago. Because we're all online more, and we're all buying stuff. So why not make it you that they buy from rather than your competitor? Another reason to look at Facebook at the moment is costs are actually down. They've dropped significantly. They're actually below 2014 figures. Now, this isn't my information, this is from the Entrepreneur Circle, but you can see those guys at Entrepreneur Circle produce this. I'm passing it on. The cost per clicks on Facebook now are very low. There's never been a better opportunity to actually try Facebook advertising, particularly if you're in the B2C market. It can even work in the B2B market, and it's working for some of our clients in the B2B market. Not at 20p a click, but it's working. And actually, moving on from that, Google Ads, the costs have dropped in some industries. They have actually gone up in others, and that's partly down to the nature of different industries and whether they're thriving or not. But Google Ads, the cost per clicks are dropping for some industries, and they will be when there's less people advertising. And Microsoft still offers a very cost-effective alternative to Google Ads. A colleague of mine has written a blog recently. Cost per clicks are about 30% lower. The people on Microsoft advertising, so the people that are actually on Bing, Microsoft Bing as it's called now, on that search engine, they tend to be more serious buyers as well. So the cost per acquisition, if you like, is lower. LinkedIn still remains expensive for obvious reasons, but it is expensive. A recent webinar that I went on, they were suggesting that LinkedIn advertising is really only appropriate if the project value or the customer lifetime value of a client is around about 10K. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's perhaps where it is. So what I would say is test Facebook advertising as soon as possible if you're in the B2C market, and maybe even if you're in the B2B. The reason I say as soon as possible because prices will be going up as we get closer to Christmas, of course. So either do it ASAP or perhaps look at it in the new year. LinkedIn for B2B. I did a whole webinar on this last month, and I would definitely say it's the place to be. Suggested 30 minutes a day will generate sales. I said about optimizing your tagline or your, what is effectively your job title. Don't put your job title in there. Optimize it. Talk about that in that presentation. Get a professional photo. Get active. Keep in touch with your contacts. Build your network. And I did provide this little graph in the presentation, which you're welcome to have a look at. When I send the link, you'll see that there's about 7 different resources available to you, and the LinkedIn webinar is one of them. So check out the last webinar, but use LinkedIn to generate sales, particularly if you're B2B. The other area we spoke about at the beginning, Google My Business. The way to get to page 1 of Google for free currently. There's been rumours for a long time that they'll monetize it. Whether they do remains to be seen. They're obviously struggling for cash. Sorry, that was being a bit sarcastic. It might not have come across in the webinar. So where is the Google My Business listing? Of course, it's there, and hopefully all of you have got your business listing, but if you haven't, claim it. Add as much information as you possibly can. Keep it up to date. Something new to me, I found out recently, you can add a street view. So go to that URL to add a street view. Add reviews, which we'll talk about as well later, and add posts. You can actually add posts now. Something I learned recently about as well with posts is those stay around for around about a week, and then they go. So you want to be adding a post fairly regularly. Treat Google My Business a bit like your social media in a way, and add a post there regularly. So build your presence with Google My Business. Reviews really sort of links with Google My Business. So ask for reviews at the right time. Something that we do is we have a customer satisfaction survey that we send out after we've completed the first project. We get our new clients to rank us. If they rank us 9 out of 10, then we ask for a review and we send off some information and a link and a quick email with a couple of links, Google My Business and Facebook or whatever you might be. It might be Trustpilot, whatever you're using. But give them a few options so it makes it easy for them, and actually ask if they'll do a review for you. And in a lot of cases they will. If it's 8 or lower, maybe 8's actually not too bad. But if it's 8 or lower, then follow up and find out what's going on, because you want your reviews to be in the 5-star area. Have a standard email to collect your reviews. As I say, with two or more options on where they can leave the review, and systemize your review collecting, because you want to be a 5-star company like us. Certainly we need to get more reviews. We do have a process, we're just not following it as thoroughly as we should be. I hold my hand up to that, but definitely set up a system to capture your reviews. I think presentation 1, when you get to the webinar resources, is all about Google My Business and getting reviews. And there's also a PDF in there with 20 ways to get reviews. So check that one out. You've got to have reviews, guys, because that's what people are looking at. That's what people look at to decide whether they're going to talk to you or talk to one of your competitors. The phone. Firstly, answer the phone. I understand not everybody is answering the phone, but definitely answer the phone. Generate leads with the phone. Phone people, phone them, phone your prospects. If you're getting inquiries through your website and they include a phone number, then phone them, and actually phone them fast. People aren't actually expecting you to phone them, but it's good to phone them, because if you do, you often get a really good response. Some data again from Entrepreneur Circle: the faster you actually follow up on a lead, the more likely it is you'll get an answer, and then you can start a conversation with them, and you've taken it offline. So let's make the phone our best friend and use the phone. So my favorite, email marketing. Something slightly different here, an idea for you. So start with the 3-line email for all your prospects and past inquiries. So if you remember, I said get in touch with all of your past prospects and past inquiries. We'll keep it really simple. Why not just go with, "Hi, Tim, are you still interested in whatever they inquired about?" And your name. I mean, keep it really simple. Make it really easy for you to do it. Why? Well, because it is really simple and it works, and you'll get business from it. And actually, it's a reminder to that prospect that you're still there, and it's also a prompt maybe that they do need to take that action. And it's quick and easy. So you just need to do it. The other thing I'd say is there is a webinar all around email marketing. There you go, week 3 of the resources. Have a look at that. It's got a lot of information in. There's loads of downloads. Check it out, and potentially look at adding a regular email newsletter to your business. And if you do that, then you'll certainly get more business from it and more sales. Email marketing the return on investment with email marketing is massive, and it's amazing that so many people aren't doing it. Social media marketing. Why? Well, why? Let's have a think. Because we can keep in front of our customers and prospects sort of for free. Obviously, there's a time involved in doing it, so it's not quite free. But they are online a lot, so it is worth doing it. And as I say, it's not free because there's your time involved, unless you outsource it, and then there's a cost as well. But again, it's a good opportunity to get in front of people, but add value and help. Don't make it too salesy. The 80-20 rule applies really. 80% help, advice, tips, tricks, something new, just starting a conversation. anything but selling, and then maybe 20% selling. But what you're trying to do is build your presence online and on the social channel that you of choice, and you're wanting to generate sales at the end of the day. But of course it's social, so you need to start off very much with a social angle to it. Now, of course, there's just loads of different options in terms of the platforms that you might want to concentrate on. But I would say choose the platform to be active on wisely. Base it not on what you like, what you prefer, base it on where your target market is and where you're getting the best results. So the 80-20 rule applies there really. Pretty much, you're probably going to get 80% of your results from 20% of the channels. So just focus on the key channels that from the data provide you with the best results. So be social, just 10 to 20 minutes a day, and you'll be surprised what you might get from that angle. And finally, let's get physical. I'm not sure how old everybody is, but it reminds me of a song. But let's look at this then. So neighbourhood cards, really great for tradespeople. Popping those through, so you're working in one area. Down the road, just down the road, there's a builder working on a house down the road. Makes sense that he should put some neighbourhood cards through the local doors, might drum up some interest. Neighbourhood cards work really, really well for those sort of businesses. And then direct mail. Why am I saying direct mail, you're asking? Well, actually, lumpy mail, as you can see there, guess what? It gets opened 100% of the time. And it can lead to double-digit responses. So although it's some people might say it's old-fashioned, a bit like email marketing. Oh, no, that's died a death, that's died a death. Seriously, no, it hasn't. How many people love to get a package in there through the door? So yeah, it works. Trust me, it works. Send a Christmas card. Obviously makes sense. We're about to get to Christmas. Let's have some cheer. I know there's a campaign to put the lights on early. Well, why not? If it means that people are going to get in the Christmas spirit or just uplift them, then let's do that. But yeah, lumpy mail will work really well for you. Just think it through. As an example, you can get 5% return. That's Instaprint results. But according to the Online Marketing Institute, weirdly, the Online Marketing Institute, 3D dimensional mailing, so lumpy mail, outperforms standard direct mail by about 250%. So looking at lumpy mail rather than a standard mail is quite a good idea. Of course, that sort of thing is fairly expensive. It can be expensive per unit. So one thing I would say is it makes sense to be targeted. But it's certainly something to bear in mind. Everything seems to have moved online, which means actually there's an opportunity offline. Certainly that would be something I'm going to be looking at actually planning a physical mailing in the next sort of week or so before the Christmas cards start going out, and that will be very targeted. But it's certainly something that you can use in your business. And then finally, we said about it before, we definitely need to follow up. I'm not saying jump into sales mode, but if you do have a CRM, make sure that you've got that follow-up activity always in there. So we're currently using HubSpot. We're probably moving to a different CRM soon, but we always have regular follow-ups put into the system so that we follow up. I'll be honest with you, I've followed up with one prospect for over a year. It took me over a year for that prospect to cross the line. I just followed up regularly, 6-week intervals, just with a hello, how's it going on? Are we ready to get moving? And it took me that long. So don't cross those people off the list, because unless they say go away, keep following up. be active with them, with email, with phone, with text, possibly messenger, definitely post, pop something in the post, definitely put a Christmas card into them. So definitely implement a follow-up process. So final thoughts. Something to bear in mind with all of our activity is what is the customer lifetime value. So make sure you've got that in mind for your business, because that gives you an idea of what you can do. So lumpy mail is expensive. It can be very expensive if you want to send someone something that is expensive. But if that customer is going to be worth £10,000 to you, is £100 something that's £100 necessarily a bad thing to be doing? So look at the customer lifetime value. And secondly, make sure you measure the return on investment. So HubSpot marketing ROI formula there. I'll be honest, basically, however much you spend on your marketing, as long, £1 in, £2 out, you're making a return. Just, keep it simple, but make sure you're measuring your return on investment, and try and do that for all of your marketing activity, and break it down by the different marketing activities. So it's a wrap. It hasn't taken as long as I anticipated to go through the top 10. What I will say is, in conclusion, build the relevant activities into your plans. So hopefully there's 10 activities that I've suggested there. There might be 5, might be more activities there that you actually think, Jackie, yeah, thanks for reminding me. That worked once, it can work again. Of course it can. Plan for 90-day sprints. We're living in a world that's changing so quickly at the moment. I'm not even sure 90 days is too long. We talk about marketing plans for a year. I query that completely at the moment. Certainly a 90-day sprint works. You might need less. You might need less. Things are changing so quickly. Who knows whether we'll come out of lockdown on the 2nd of December or whether it'll be later. So we need to sort of have contingency plans there in place. What I will say is just do it. All the planning in the world, you still have to implement, and keep measuring and testing. I put this on last time as well. You've got this. Come on, guys. If you take action, you'll get results, and that's what we need to do at the moment. Let's keep our heads out and away from the television and the news and all of the negative stuff. Let's keep positive, and let's just get stuff done. So questions and answers. I think I do have a question, as long as I can get to it. Hold on one moment. Well, I do hope you found this useful. Let's see. Yeah, so one question. So if you had to choose one activity, which one would you choose? Okay, is this someone wanting a very quick win here? Okay, if it was, okay, let's split it into B2B and B2C for ease. I would say B2B, it would be LinkedIn, and making the very most you can of LinkedIn. So go and have a look at the last webinar I did last month. It was all about LinkedIn and using LinkedIn to grow your business. It is the place to be, I think, when it comes to B2B. The other thing I would say is B2C. It depends. If you've got some budget available, I would say now is a good time to test Facebook advertising. We're getting some great results for B2B, B2C customers. Oh, I've got a question that also says, what is B2B and B2C? Apologies for coming out with terminology that some people might not know. So B2B is business to business. So that's like me selling as a business, Key Principles as a business, to another business like a car dealer. B2C is business to consumer. So that's a car dealer, I keep coming back to car dealers, a car dealer selling to a customer who wants to drive off with a car. So those are the differences. So B2B, I would say definitely use LinkedIn. And if you haven't got budgets available, use LinkedIn in the ways that I've suggested in the webinar from last month. Business to consumer, definitely would recommend Facebook advertising. If you haven't got the budget for Facebook advertising, then it's a tricky one. And it's not about getting new customers or talking to your current customers. If it's one of the things that we've spoken about already, it's an interesting one. B2C, but not advertising. It would probably be scaling up your social media marketing. So if you can't afford to be on there, on Facebook advertising, then I would say use Facebook and Instagram and whatever other channels you've got. Use those channels to actually keep in front of people. I do actually have some more questions coming in, so hold on a sec. Let's see if I can get to them. Okay. Are Facebook ads for Black Friday sales for wedding cars a good idea, yes or no? The problem with Black Friday in itself is Black Friday will probably be more expensive on Facebook anyway, which is sort of why I said you need to sort of crack on with it if you're going to use it at the moment. I would say for wedding cars, I've got some experience. We've got a few clients in the wedding industry. It's certainly a difficult industry at the moment. I would probably, you could give it a go, but I would say there might be better ways of spending your money. If it's wedding cars to people that are looking to have a wedding next year, I'm not sure that Black Friday would be the time to do Facebook advertising. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a good idea to do Facebook advertising, just not sure that time period would be the best time period, if you like. Now, how do I get to all of the other questions? Are there more questions in here? I'm just trying to find them. Apologies for that. I'm not sure if there are any. Let's see. No. Here we go. How are, let me get, oh, I can see it there, Caroline, I can see it. So how are all your direct marketing suggestions impacted by GDPR? Okay, good question. Direct marketing, obviously there are GDPR requirements. Interestingly enough, and I don't know, business to business GDPR is slightly different. If it's less of an issue. So I would say from a GDPR point of view, business to business, no need to worry at all. If you want to send a direct mail out, you can. Obviously, if they've unsubscribed online, so you've sent them emails, you might not particularly want to send them a direct mail because they've sort of unsubscribed anyway. But if you wanted to send a direct mail piece and your business B2C, well, obviously, it's a slightly different situation, actually. If you're not going to personalize it, you could send it to the address. Less effective, I would say. But if you've got a mailing list and their previous contacts, for example, then certainly you can use direct mail. Personally, Caroline, I don't think if someone got something nice in the post that they're gonna be unhappy about receiving it. So it's a tricky one, but I would go for it. That's just my view on it, though. And if you're unsure, then obviously you need to take some advice from probably a lawyer, unfortunately. Or I shouldn't say that because there's lawyers on the webinar. Another question. So what type of Facebook advertising works best? Boosting posts and best place to set them up. Okay. We most definitely do not recommend boosted posts, simply because the targeting is less good than actually undertaking a Facebook advertising properly. So I definitely wouldn't recommend boosted posts. The best place to do them, the best place to set them up, well, if you've got a Facebook business page, then you can set them up within Facebook. So you don't need to actually have a different platform or anything. You do it within the Facebook Business Manager. So you might need Facebook Business Manager. We can help you sort all of that out, but yeah, I don't recommend boosted posts. Facebook advertising of all sorts will work. We tend to find that images and some text works best rather than video. I know there's a lot of people that swear by video. That isn't really what we've found to be the case. And if you've got an Instagram place as well, channel as well, then with Facebook you can actually target Instagram too. So that works really well, being able to target both. So yeah, that's probably where I would start with Facebook advertising. As I say, I wouldn't really recommend boosted posts at all. What's a better promotion, 25% off or up to £250 off? That's a good question. I guess it depends on the value of whether the £250 off it is more than 25% in a way. So yeah, that completely depends on the product that you're marketing as to whether one will work better than the other. It's a difficult one to answer, that one, without having a bit more information. Okay, I think that's all of the questions answered. So let's get back to the slide, shall we? So I really hope you've enjoyed the presentation. If you've got any feedback, if you've got any other questions, then you've got my email. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, connect or sign up with the company page, follow the company page, and you'll see lots of updates there, most of them useful. Very rarely are we selling. Like and share our posts, that would be lovely. And if you really enjoyed this and you're going to give me a 5 stars, or I don't know, 5 stars, then please do feel free to leave me a review. That would be wonderful, because you'd be really helping me. So thank you for your time. This is the last in the series, and we'll be wondering whether we come back again in the future. Certainly we won't be coming back in December. It's too busy a time. So dare I wish everyone a happy Christmas all this way in advance. Well, I have done so now. So happy Christmas to everyone when that comes about. If you need any help, then please do get in touch. That's my email and that's our phone number. Okay, well, thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day, everyone. Thank you.